All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome for today's webinar. This is titled Building Resilience Against Online Crimes. I am Jen, and I am the Converge Community Relations Manager. First off, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. So, whether you're single, in a relationship, or married, there's always a reason to celebrate today. But more than that, did you know that February is also the Safer Internet Month? Well, that is our trivia for today. But for today's webinar, our speakers will emphasize the importance of self defense and more accurately self education because we believe that being well informed is the key to our protection. To formally begin, let's welcome our Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications and Public Relations, Ms. Jayan Encarnado, for the opening remarks.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone! Thank you at kami ang pinili nyo na unang makadate sa espesyal na araw na ito. While February is much well known as the Love Month, as Jen has said, it is also celebrated as the Safer Internet Month. In fact, in the Philippines, by virtue of Proclamation Number 17, so isa siyang batas talaga, Safer Internet Day is celebrated every second Tuesday of the month of February to coincide with the global festivities, which is focused on promoting the safety of children online. That is why last Tuesday, we kicked off our celebration in Anunas Elementary School in Angeles, Pampanga, where we gave a short but cohesive data privacy training to school children ages 11 and 12. At Converge, we do not just celebrate safer internet for a day. We celebrate it for a whole month and carry the campaign all throughout the year. Why? Because we believe that as an internet service provider, we have the responsibility to make sure that our network is not being used for illicit activities, especially those that harm the most vulnerable, like our children. Every year, we renew our commitment to create campaigns for our stakeholders to help them be safe while using the internet. As an ISP, we stand up for safer internet. In 2022, we started our partnership with Internet Watch Foundation and Stairway Foundation and created videos that will explain the dangers of online bullying, sexual exploitation, and grooming of children under the we tried to unmask the exploitation and abuse of children online. In 2023, we took our campaigns on the ground and fiber powered a learning center to help students become more confident in carrying themselves online and helping them discern intentions of strangers online through guided learning. Then just last year, we tapped on the dangers of online scams, especially love scams. We unveiled the profiles of people who are hiding behind masks to prey on the vulnerable. Our partner, ScamWatch Pilipinas, was at the forefront of this campaign, and they are also here today to further deepen this discussion. And today, we go even broader as we invite our Chief Executive Advisor, Eugene, to discuss the current trends and technology that we can utilize to protect ourselves. We will also hear from our Corporate Compliance Officer, Attorney Loris Esteban Tuason, who is an expert in cybersecurity. Of course, we have also invited our DICT Undersecretary, who heads the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center, Honorable Alex Ramos, to talk about the policies that are in place to help our victims. Let us all learn from our experts today, and we hope that our learnings will not only help us, but also our loved ones in protecting themselves from cyber criminals. I believe that by sharing what you heard and learned today to your family and friends, you have given them a most valuable and sustainable Valentine's gift. Thank you, and a happy Valentine's Day again to everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Jan, for setting the stage for today's discussion. When it comes to cybersecurity and online safety, we always want to highlight the importance of collaboration. We need to come together to share our efforts, particularly within the private sector, our local communities, and of course, the government. That is why we are honored to have the support of the DICT in this campaign. To share their initiatives aimed at fostering safer online spaces, let us hear from Mr. Alexander Ramos, the Undersecretary of the DICT and Executive Director of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of Converge ICT. We in the government pursue to the best of our capacity and capability, though limited, to keep our cyberspace safe. Having partnerships with Converge will ensure that this continued presence by both parties will deliver certain services that will keep everyone safe. We extend our partnership to bring together technologies that we have on our offices. We have a capability, you have a capability. We share resources to ensure that we are on the same page in fighting cybercrime. As you celebrate today the start of the Safer Internet Month, I would like to congratulate your management for starting a new endeavor. You see, internet safety or online safety or cyber safety starts from within, and it starts with you. It starts from your home base. I look forward that whatever you will be learning and gaining from this workshop, you may be able to implement and keep your network safe as well as your homes. Do your best to practice proper hygiene and learning. Take away your learnings from this workshop.
All right, so that is the message from our DICT Undersecretary Ramos. Now let us dive into the first presentation for today. Our next speaker will discuss how we can create a more resilient organization by making cybersecurity a core of our corporate culture. Please welcome the co-founder of ScamWatch Pilipinas, Mr. Jocel de Guzman.
Hello. Hi. Well, thank you for inviting ScamWatch Pilipinas. Hopefully, we can help. First and foremost, I would like to thank Converge, the entire organization, to its top management and executives, especially to Mr. Dennis Uy and of course Miss J. Ann Encarnado for supporting our cause. As you know, since we launched ScamWatch Pilipinas back in 2023, around July, the first company that we approach for support is Converge. So thank you for the warm welcome and thank you for the support. Now, going back from the time that we were officially launched in September up to now, so we were already able to reach around 700 million Filipinos through our media campaigns, and we had around 800 media exposures because the first phase of ScamWatch Pilipinas is media campaign, educating Filipinos. Now, the difference between ScamWatch and the other organization is that we don't identify the scams just like that. Oh, this is phishing, this is tech scam, this is whatever scams. There are so many. We cannot catch up. So what we did, what we have been promoting in various campaigns, such as the Holiday Watch, our Christmas campaign, where we reveal or help identify the 12 scams of Christmas. Through this Unmatch, the ongoing love scam campaign right now, the Unmatch PH, and of course every summer the online Bantay Lakbay, wherein uh, we create an awareness campaign against travel and vacation scams. So through those years, we were able to educate a lot of Filipinos, but it's still not enough. In fact, because of your help, because of Converge help, we were ScamWatch Pilipinas. Our campaign was recognized as one of the top three uh, anti-scam awareness campaign in the world. So we are at par with one of the agencies in Singapore, and the other one was AARP, an organization in the United States helping senior citizens. So we were recognized, and we want to thank Converge for that. Now going back, our approach is quite different. That's why this year we are launching a volunteer watcher, because there is already a need to go to the grassroots and to the various communities. So I want you to listen to me now. I'm happy that uh, Converge has been going to the communities like what you did to my hometown in Angeles City. But I hope next time when you go there, it will be a full force of employees, because uh, your corporate communications team and ScamWatch Filipinas, we're trying to create now. Converge will be the first where we're going to launch the volunteer watcher program. Simply because what we believe in is that cybersecurity is not just the role of the IT people or your cybersecurity officers or your data privacy officers. It's the role of the entire organization. As what Yusek Alex Ramos said, cybersecurity starts with you. And given all this, we tried to simplify the corporate culture, the program that we want to help. So in this aspect, there are only four. I want you to remember this. There are only four. Later on, I will show them to you when we discuss the anatomy of the scam. There are only four attitudes. The approach of ScamWatch Pilipinas is not to expose. Of course, that's important, expose the various scams. But we have to change the attitude of every Filipino, of every Filipino. That's why uh, we we came up with the four contra scam attitude. So the first one is, please remember this. I After this, I want you to teach this to your friends, to your family members, and start making this a way of life. So the first one is magdamot or be stingy. If you can go to slide 16, please. Slide 16. Stop there. So the first one is magdamot. Okay? So you have to understand that the scammers are basically stealing personal information. Your e-wallet, your e-money, they're all information. They're all data. They're stealing your data. So what we want is all Filipinos to be magdamot or be stingy. Okay? Never share your personal information. Never share your mobile number where your e-wallet is linked. Never share your email addresses where your digital bank is linked. Never share your IDs. Never share your full birthday. Never share your full name on social media. Okay? So we have to be stingy. And the mindset that, oh, I'm going to give this person 100 pesos. Oh, I'm glad that they were only able to get 200 pesos. No, we have to be stingy when it comes to e-wallet or giving money or sharing information. The other one, it's the most basic. It's magduda, or in English, it's doubt. You have to keep on doubting. I keep on repeating this because last Christmas, for some reasons, there are still a lot of Filipinos who were scammed for offers like 5,000 pesos, iPhone Pro Max 16. It's 5,000 pesos. So obviously, I know everyone wants to have an iPhone, it's an aspiration, but you have to already doubt, given that the cost, that's obviously a scam. So everything you have to doubt. Double your money when it comes to investment scam. Someone will match you whose photo is too perfect, too gorgeous, too hunk. So you have to start doubting everything in the internet, because right now everyone is contributing a lot of content. So the idea, the concept of deceit is at the center. of our internet. And that's why we're doing this, because we want to have a safer internet campaign. So that's the two: be stingy, magduda, doubt, uh, sorry, be stingy, magdamot, doubt, magduda. And the other one, this is the most important aspect, attitude for me, which is bang snub or ignore. Okay? Remember, when we were young, we were taught not to approach a stranger, not to talk to a stranger, people we don't know. Never go with a stranger. Don't accept food from a stranger. So all of these safety precaution in the real world must be applied in the internet, online as well. But because Filipinos is the social media capital of the world, there are around more than 87 million on Facebook, 50 million on TikTok, 20 million on LinkedIn, and around 60 million on Instagram. We keep on engaging people we don't know. In fact, we even like bash or contribute to the proliferation of fake news by mere sharing. So my our suggestion, or what we are pushing, is that if you receive an SMS and a social media message from a person you don't know, ignore. If you receive, let's say, if you receive, let's say, an advisory from Converge via SMS with a link, ignore. Even if, let's say, they are saying, oh, we're going to cut your internet if you don't click the link, if you don't update your account, you have to ignore. For as long as you know your business, for as long as you know that you don't owe any company or owe any person anything, so you have to ignore. Uh, Mang snub po tayo. We have to elevate ourselves. And of course, the last one is magsumbong. Next slide, please. So we've been communicating this for over a year, and yet people still don't know that you can actually report scams by dialing 1326 on your mobile phone. So I was surprised that despite of the mileage that we got for this particular campaign, even if this won already several awards, people still don't know. So we are not yet successful. So the fight is still only beginning. So we need to push more. And on this aspect, that's why when you say report or the last attitude is magsumbong, we want everyone to carry 1326, because you have a government center, okay, a response center where there are actually cyber forensic agents who will address, okay, and listen to scam victims. And that's 1326. What you need to understand, because a lot of big companies like Converge, you have millions of customers. And even if you get all of the call centers here in the Philippines, it will really take time before they can actually listen to you. And of course, there are several SLAs when it comes to customer engagement and experience via call center channels. So they won't be able to accommodate all complaints. That's why they are using AI. But in this case, they have a system wherein you can actually talk to an agent. Okay? Especially, let's say, for instance, you have to call 1326 if you get scammed within 24 hours. Okay? And the most common cases that are being reported to 1326 now, it's Facebook hacking. When your Facebook got hacked. So when you call them, let's say, for instance, you have a friend, a family member, so whose Facebook or any other social media account got hacked and taken over by the scammers, you can call 1326 and they will immediately uh, help you, okay, recover that particular account. Because that's the start of what we call the scandemic, because they will immediately scam every people you know as soon as your Facebook got hacked. So these are the attitudes. They are very poor. And what we found out during our sorties is that uh, it's more important to go offline to teach our kababayans offline with a brochure. We have a brochure. It's very simple, teaching all this attitude with the most common scams. and they listen more than the actual media campaign that we did, more than the actual media exposures that we did. So after the election, we were just finishing the election because we don't want to have an on-ground campaign while the election is going because we don't want to be used by politicians. So, but we are starting now with partners like Converge, wherein we will now create the volunteer watcher program. Everyone in Converge must become a volunteer watcher, meaning we will arm you with this attitude. We will give you modules so that when you get home, just document it so that it can be also a CSR program of Converge. When you go home, one employee will go home and they just document this. The inspiration of this, if you know the children's hour, now you can teach anti-scam education in just 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, with the four attitude. So we have to inculcate that over and over and over. And we will also help corporate communications create an internal campaign throughout the year, to maximize this. Because you have to understand the problem right now in the corporate world is that cybersecurity is exclusive among cybersecurity professionals. The education of cybersecurity has become exclusive among
Sir Jocel, I think we lost your audio. Ha, no, we cannot hear you, sir. Ayan. Sige, let us just troubleshoot Sir Jocel's audio. Sir, we can see your video, but we cannot hear you at the moment. Yeah.
about that. Do you hear me now?
Hello? Better. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sorry about that. I'm using your competitor's internet. So that's why I need Converge here at my home. Hopefully you can have Converge here in my building and I will gladly replace it. Okay. Anyway, going back, so what we want is to have a cross-functional team within corporations, including HR for internal comms. Of course, you need to have your CISO, you need to have your data privacy, you need to have corporate communications, you need to have your marketing, you need to have accounts. The cybersecurity will basically, of course, you're selling your products, and you have to be able to tie up to your business and make cybersecurity among your values so that everyone now will have this attitude change because after this seminar, no one will remember. That's why you cannot stop. If you notice, Camwatch Pilipinas has been there all year round. We just don't teach for every Christmas, we've been there. But of course, we need help and we need your help. So hopefully when we start talking about how to roll this out to Converge, we can have that program. And I guarantee you, you will win an award. You'll be the first. I promise you'll be the first, and I'm going to make you the use case for this volunteer watcher program because you're the only one who actually have this type of campaign every February. This is your second time already. Other companies they don't have. They rather go partner with DOJ. They rather go partner with other departments. But in this case, you're prioritizing, which I love, which we love. So that's why when I was talking to the ICT, Ivan Uy, and Secretary Yusek Ramos, I was telling them, Converge is basically has this program. That's why if you Google Converge or even ScamWatch and Converge, you're the only one who basically create this awareness program. It starts, you already did the first step. And the next step now is to roll it out to each and every employee of the company. And it's not even complicated. The way I explained the four attitude, I think it should be explained further, the way based on your own experience. So you can actually release. The most important thing here is 1326. On Tuesday, ScamWatch Pilipinas will be in Congress and we will push for the centralization of scam reporting and of course the integration of all education campaign under this attitude. So we were given an opportunity to do that in the legislative side next week. And with that, I'm not going to further bore you with what we did. I think you already know. Always remember, I will repeat this again. Remember the four attitude. Magdamot, be stingy. Don't share personal information. Magduda, doubt. Okay? Always doubt the too good to be true offers. Mang snub or ignore. If you don't know the person, that's messaging you, ignore. If you know that you don't have any business with a particular company, ignore the messages. And of course, magsumbong or report. Report online scam, incident of scam to 1326. There, hopefully that helps. Do I still have time? Wala na.
Time, but that we will be releasing a lot of social media cards to update our
Yeah.
audience. And siguro, sir, one question lang from me is what do people who report to 1326 can expect? No, what can the 1326 hotline
Okay.
do for the victims?
Okay. Well, number one, I have to be honest with you. If let's say you lost money, let's say you lost 2,000 or even 50,000, the sad reality is only 3% of all the scam victims can recovers their money back. So that's the mindset right now. That's why the problem we are encountering right now, people don't want to report already. 73% of scam victims, they don't want to report anymore simply because they know that they can't recover their money or they are embarrassed that they are victims of scam. But by reporting to 1326, what you need to understand, the scammers are stealing data. Our government, particularly the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, they also need the data of scammers. And let me put it this way. Remember, because people reported to 1326, we gather around 6 million text messages from Who's Call, our partner. Number two, there were 10,000 people who actually reported to 1326. There were 15,000 scam messages that we got from the eGov app through the e-report function. With all of this data, during the first 3 quarters of 2024, this data became actionable intelligence that the CICC were able to pass on to our law enforcement, to PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, to PAOK, to the NBI, and we were able to apprehend, okay? They were able to apprehend or close down 11 major scam hubs, including the ones in Porac, in Bamban, in the discovery of Alice Go in Pasay. And until now, they are not stopping because people are reporting. You may not be able to recover your money, but at least you can do your share to stop to stop this scammer from victimizing other people. And also, you know, the MC catcher, the spoofing messages, because people reported, the government was able to apprehend a Malaysian seller. And right now, if you receive, let's say, from a message from a telco, from your bank, or from the LTO, uh, they are they will be like they will be also apprehended because our law enforcement already have the list of the buyers, because we are expecting that this will be used in the upcoming election, not only to scam people. So there, it's important that we give the government actionable data that can turn to be actionable intelligence, and there's results. It's not just, I'm sorry if the money may not be recovered, but at least uh, we can able to feel the result. You have to remember, before the anti-SIM card registration, though, we are receiving 10 to 20 text scam messages a day. Then the SIM card registration law happened, we were only receiving 1 to 5, okay, sometimes in a week, or 10 in a week. And then when all of these scam hubs were like closed down and Pogo was banned, they shifted. I think we don't actually receive. I don't receive text scam messages from a prepaid number, but we only received it from ISMI Cashier because they transformed the operation from scam hubs to mobile. So that's the contribution. We actually feel it, but sometimes to the victims, hopefully, I'm going to open this up with Converge. Uh, it can be your project. One thing we realized in 2024, people are calling not because they want to recover their money. Of course, they want to recover their money, but because they just want someone. They want someone to listen to them, to what happened. So in a way, it also has a mental health aspect that we are now looking at. And of course, having that one, we all know how expensive a mental health does. But that's the first step that we are going to work with a lot of government agencies this 2025. So please report the 1326. I'm going to campaign, I'm going to lobby to make this a centralized version. So there, please save it on your mobile phone. And if you know anyone, please report. Please tell them to report to 1326.
All right.
So
Thank you very much, Sir Josser, for that valuable discussion. So we hope our audience was able to capture those numbers. So that's 1326 to report whatever scam you were able to encounter. Ayan.
thank you,
And ayan,
Jen.
we want to
Safe
abolish,
lang.
no, that there is no shame in reporting when you have been a victim. So again, thank you so much, Sir Josel, and we will see you later for our photo op.
Okay.
Yan. Okay, up next, we will confront a pressing reality that cyber scams have become very rampant. No? It has become easier for criminals to create phishing schemes, especially with the prevalence of AI-driven deception. To guide us in different ways, how we can safeguard ourselves, and how AI is being used to perpetrate scams, our Chief Executive Advisor, Mr. Eugene Yo, is here with us today. Hi, Sir Eugene.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Happy to be here, and hope to be able to share in this short 10 minutes some ways of how we can really defend ourselves in today's world. Right. Let's go to the slides. Okay, so when I first started on the internet, this was in the 1990s, and I remember joining this first version of the internet called Usenet. And it was a very friendly community. People really there just to share information, help each other. But fast forward to today, things have significantly changed, right? There's so many bad actors on the internet today. Trying to steal your information, trying to compromise your identity, trying to do many things in order to get something that they want. So it's a very different world, and that also means that we have to understand how we can protect ourselves to create safety for us and for our families as we browse and as we use and leverage the internet today. So how do we defend ourselves? The first question has to be, how are we attacked, right? And we always think of attacks being email scams, but that's not really true. In today's sophisticated world, first of all, for us, and just to share a bit about my background, I took many years to study ethical hacking. It really allowed me to think like an attacker. And I felt that the best way to defend oneself is to be able to understand how the attacker would behave and how the attacker would act. So we need to understand that there are so many tools out there that allows an attacker to automate the attacks, right? Whether it's creating a phishing site, whether it's gathering information, all these can be done within minutes today, right? Next slide, please. So as we think about how we are being attacked, right? It's not just email. There's also social media, phone calls. It's not just targeted towards you, but it's also targeted towards your connections, right? It's your family, your friends, your banks, where you're banking at, your company. It's everyone. It's everyone around you, right? So this is very important for us to know, because even if we install antivirus on our computers, on our phones, even if we ignore, suspicious emails, that's no longer enough, right? When an attacker attacks, there is two ways that they can attack. One way is they just do general attacks, meaning to say they'll just send an email to as many people as possible and hope that some people take the bait. But of course, if they are a bit more targeted attacks, that's where the danger comes in. Next slide, please. So what are the ways that an attacker can leverage? What are the tools they can leverage in order to really attack you? Well, there's a whole list here, right? It starts with the simple malware, things like keyloggers, right? Things like phishing sites to extract your username and password. Things like man in the middle. For example, we always want to connect to Wi-Fi, right? When you go to a new place, you don't want to use your 4G or your data plan to surf the internet. You connect to Wi-Fi. But have you ever asked yourself, right, is that Wi-Fi that you're connecting the legitimate Wi-Fi, the authentic Wi-Fi provided by that cafe or that place? Or is it a Wi-Fi that looks similar, but it's actually set up by an attacker because they want to steal all the information going through the websites and you? So that's something to think about, right? Now, the next area is social engineering. And social engineering is a topic. I have a video later to showcase how people leverage on social engineering to really, get a lot of information out, right? So we'll talk about that later. Information manipulation, you see a lot of that. We call it online bullying, but there's a lot of ways to manipulate information that's there, especially with deepfake today. They can literally make a video of you doing something, right? So that's actually another attack format. Of course, you got ransomware, you've got supply chain attacks. Supply chain attacks literally means everything that's related to you, how you're using things, your device, etc. As well as threats against availability, right? I won't go into that too much. Next slide, please. So there's so many ways that an attacker can attack you, right? So many tools that they can use and methods they can use. So most important and the focus of this topic is really how to protect ourselves. Next slide. And in order to figure out how to protect ourselves, awareness is just one of it. We really should think like a cyber attacker, right? Because as we think like an attacker and think of how they're doing it, it will really help us understand how we should better approach the defense. Next slide, please. So, as an attacker, first of all, the most important thing is getting information about you. And there's this whole topic in the cybersecurity space called OSINT, which is open source intelligence, right? And much like what Jocel said about 1326, 1326 is literally the other way around, where the defenders are using OSINT to gather information about the attackers so that you can prevent these attacks from happening. Same thing, attackers are doing the same. They're using open source intelligence to gather a lot of information, such as your contact details. For example, if you go to sites like Rocket Reach, you can actually extract all sorts of information, your phone number, your corporate email address, your personal email address, your title, your work history, etc. Right? That is really scary. And there are a lot of other ways of getting information. Google is another way. There are actually specific Google keywords that you can use to extract emails that looks like your email. It's very fast. Within minutes, you can extract that, right? So you're scouring the internet for information. That's the first thing the attacker would do. Now, once they have that information, the second thing they would do is they will start to use things like social engineering. Of course, in the previous ways, they would use virus malwares, but actually, to be honest, that's too slow. If I'm an attacker and I want to attack you, I would use social engineering concepts. So what are they? Social engineering concepts are basically using information that I have, and then after that, convincing either yourself or your family or your friends or your company to divulge more information or to even give access to certain things like your bank account information. Reset your username, reset your password, and give control over to the attacker. And that's really scary. In today, most of the news is still about basic scams, but this wave of social engineering is coming. And the reason why I say we really have to be prepared for this is because of automation. With AI coming along, it's so easy. I don't even need to do the social engineering attack as an attacker. I can just use an AI to mimic, a human's voice, mimic your voice, for example. I can just take recordings of you from Google, from, your press releases or whatever, or your conferences, and I can mimic your voice and act as though I'm you. That's really scary because now I can call your family, your loved ones, your parents, your children, and I can convince them that it's actually, you that they're talking to. And once they do that, pretty much that's it. Game over. You're compromised, right? Target will be able to take the bait and then falls victim to the crime. Perhaps your bank account gets emptied. Perhaps something else happens, right? So this is how the attackers really approach this whole thing. Next, please.
So I invited a few of the world's best hackers to try to
see
hack
how
me
it
and show
actually
me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas for DEF CON, the biggest hacker convention of the year. They're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and
Okay.
see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30
At
seconds,
gmail.com.
Jessica gets access to my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Shh. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account.
Jess uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see from that short video, it's really, really scary, right? Within minutes, the social engineering attacker was able to compromise your telephone or mobile phone account and take control of everything, right? But there's a couple of things that she needed, right? She needed information. She needed to know that you're married, needed to know that, you have a baby, needed to know that you have an older daughter, right? And also perhaps, some other information about you, right? To be able to do that. So like if you see in the previous slide, the process is very simple. To attack an individual, it's actually not that difficult. It's finding information about the individual, using social engineering attacks, and then finally compromise, not just trying to compromise you as an individual. Actually, we can compromise your connections around, the services you use, the people around you, right? So what does that mean for us as individuals? How do we actually defend and try to strengthen our defense in today's age, especially when everything's so automated today, right? First point. So first of all, it's being mindful of what you put on the internet, right? As much as we all love social media, we love Instagram, Facebook, every information that you put there is an information that the attacker can use. Perhaps your birthday, perhaps your families and your connections, perhaps where you are at this point of time. All these are critical information that an attacker would leverage on in order to really compromise you. Second point, be genuinely aware, right? Ultimately, awareness is so important. You have to be careful when you receive emails that look like, emails from your bank. Double check it. Try not to click on links in emails. Try to go to the official site and go through the official process instead of taking the shortcut. Emails and SMSs, particularly SMSs, try not to click any links in them. Go through the official path. Third, next please. Okay, so you have to think like an attacker. Like I've been gone through with you the process of how an attacker would think. It's very important to understand how people will try to compromise you, right? Lastly, but more importantly, it's also to find ways to safeguard your extended circle, your family and your close friends. Because if an attacker gets information about you and tries to convince your parents that you have been kidnapped and they need to pay a ransom amount, it's important to find ways to mitigate that. For example, to verify, you can use this thing called a safe code between friends, between family, that when they hear this code, and it's a code that you've agreed, when they hear this code, they know it's you, right? It's very important to think like this, to add layers to protect not just yourself, but the circle around you. Yeah, next. So ultimately, defending yourself against personal cyber attacks is so difficult today. Again, with all these advancements of technology and artificial intelligence. And the best way to protect yourself is to reduce the amount of information people can get from you, and be very, very aware and use tricks in order to make sure that, your close friends, your families can actually verify that the person they're talking to, the person they're interacting with is you. Right, with that, I end my short session. I hope that you've gained some nuggets of information, and thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Eugene. That was a really scary video, especially when you have children at home and strangers can just phone them in and ask for your personal information. So, thank you very much for that very insightful message, po. And then, so to wrap up, no, this very eye-opening webinar. Maybe ask our maybe ask our corporate compliance and data privacy officer, Attorney Laurice Esteban Tuazon, for the closing remarks.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to all. And we are happy that you can join us this morning to increase our awareness, how we can contribute to a safer internet. To me, self love is akin to self protection. So, and that's how we need to do it also, not just, within our internal circle, but as we expand our presence, whether in the social media, in the internet, it's something that we have to do for ourselves. But first, I'd like to thank everyone who participated here today, and I'd like to cheer for our Corpcom team headed by Jayan Encarnado and Jen Ambanta, who are truly passionate about ensuring online safety. I'd also like to thank our esteemed speakers, Undersecretary Ramos from the DICT, our Maestro Jocel de Guzman, who is one of the industry stalwarts in ensuring a safe space, and of course, our very own Chief Executive Advisor and Tech Expert Eugenio, who provided great insights and have increased our awareness on the different advanced means used by attackers and the practical ways to increase our defenses and fight against them. So indeed, no, it takes a collaboration of many individuals to help create a safe internet space. Next slide, please. So in today's digital age, self-defense is the best offense against online scams. Scammers are constantly evolving, and while companies and authorities work to combat fraud, the strongest protection starts with awareness and vigilance. By thinking before we click, verifying before we pay, and safeguarding our personal information, we can prevent financial loss, identity theft, and security breaches before they can happen. Next slide, please. And as a telecommunications company, we take our responsibility seriously in protecting customer and employee data. We implement advanced cybersecurity measures such as encryption, multi-factor authentication, and fraud detection systems to ensure that personal and sensitive information remains secure. Through awareness campaigns, security training, and proactive audit and monitoring, we continue to strengthen our defenses against cyber threats. However, we all know that digital safety is a shared responsibility. We must all work together, individuals, companies, our communities, law enforcement, to create a safe internet where trust, security, and awareness prevail. Let's stay informed, remain cautious, and do our part in making the online world a safer place for everyone. So, together, we can build a secure and scam free digital future. So, cheers to Safer Internet Month.
All right, thank you very much, Attorney Laurice. So before we officially end our program, may we ask our partners and our bosses, Sir Eugene, Ms. J.Ann, Attorney Laurice, and to open your cameras, and also Sir Jocel, ayan, for our photo op. Okay, so are we all ready? Smiles, please. In 3, 2, 1. All right. And with that, oh, one more daw, one more. Sorry, smile. All right. And with that, we officially close this webinar, but parts of this video will be put up online so we can review, know what are the things that we should remember to keep our safe online. All right. Thank you, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's!
Congratulations!
Thank you po.